The first thing I thought when I walked into the space was, oh my gosh, this is horrible. And I actually even said to my client, you're not allowed to live like this. Like, nobody should have to live like this, which was hilarious. But it was so dingy and no planning in where the appliances were. And it was just the last place they wanted to be. And it was actually the place they wanted to be the most in the house. So I knew we had to change it. When you're working with clients, there are always going to be two people that have different opinions of what they want, which can be very tricky. For these clients, we sat down and I got a wish list from both of them. So everything that they wanted, what they wanted to see design-wise and what they wanted to see in terms of functionality. And then I kind of took those things and came back with a design plan that I had my fingers crossed that they would like, and then they did. The kitchen, I think at its widest, it's 8 feet, and then lengthwise, it's about 23 feet. So we had like very tight configurations to work with. My whole inspiration was authentic Brooklyn. So I didn't want it to feel like big box stuff. I wanted to feel like it was old, it was part of the house. The brick was really important, even though it's kind of the design that you don't maybe notice right away because it's white and it blends into the space. But it did two things. It did feel a bit European, even maybe a bit New York, but it also felt like it was authentic. So it felt like it was actually part of the house and that we were using that within the space that we were then redesigning. That brick is actually a brick veneer. You can customize the color and the size. So the way that this goes on is just like tile. And you grout it, so you can also control the thickness of the grout. And then we just paint it out white and it feels completely like a brick wall, and it's not. One of my favorite things about this kitchen is this beautiful table that we have up against the brick wall. When you're working in a small space like this, every inch counts. They could use it as like a buffet if they were hosting a dinner party, sit and eat or read the newspaper. It could also be another workstation. And it also has casters on it. So they could roll it into the middle of the space if they wanted to use it as an island. I like that we added that bit of wood. It really warms up the otherwise cooler features in the space. And with the wrought iron base, it again kind of gives that nod to, this is an old piece, it's established, but it is a brand new piece. When I started working on the cooking line of the kitchen, it was tricky. You know, they're big entertainers, so I wanted to give them full-size appliances, which is kind of where I started from and then worked my way back workspace-wise from that. Full-size appliances also can make the space feel even bigger. Anytime you're working in an old house, you are going to have to work with things that are structural that you can't change. So I had ductwork above the cabinetry that I couldn't move. So we actually cheated in some places. So some places where it looks like the cabinet is all the way up, it's actually a faux front that just covers the bulkhead behind, but it just gives you that beautiful height that your eye can just go all the way to the ceiling. I really wanted the kitchen to have a nice traditional feel, but I wanted it also to have a bit of a transitional feel. So the cabinetry that I chose is a nice simple shaker front, and then I use this beautiful black hardware that just kind of brings in that more established feel to it. One of the other features in this kitchen that I actually really love is the subway tile. We took it all the way up to the ceiling in parts, and I'd actually never done black grout before, and it was my original design plan, and then when it came the day to grout, I chickened out, and I thought, no, this isn't gonna work. So I phoned my client, and he was so into the vision, he said, no, you're doing black. And so we did it, and I'm thrilled with the way it turned out. The existing window in this kitchen was very tiny, so no natural light, and it was actually further down in the space, so it looked into the neighbor's house, like right into their window. So we really wanted to change that. I also wanted the window again to feel older and more authentic, so I increased the size dramatically, and then I also got it a custom-made window that had the black mullions, so it felt again, you know, a bit more European, and really brought in some light. And because we moved it down again, they don't look into their neighbor's house anymore. We really took our time to pick what we were gonna spend the money on and what we thought we could maybe save some money on. So the floor, which turned out beautifully, was actually a savings. It was very inexpensive slate tile that instead of just lying in, you know, a brick pattern, we just turned it on its head a bit, laid it herringbone. It feels very custom. It's beautiful. It just anchors the space, and it was really affordable. The thing that we decided to spend money on were the doors at the back of the room, which the kitchen wouldn't look like it without these doors. It's actually the art in the room. And when we open those doors up, it just adds like another room to their kitchen. So they were really worth the money and probably my favorite thing in the room. I had another little sneaky moment in this kitchen. I really wanted to get them some extra kind of pantry storage for food and a microwave in here. but there wasn't really room on the cooking line. So luckily for me, the other side of the kitchen actually backs onto a stairwell that goes to the basement, and we actually went into the wall that way. We outfitted it with shelves and everything else and put the microwave in there so it's completely flush with the wall, added storage and added appliance, but it doesn't mess up any of the other space. The best part about this kitchen is that we got to take things up really high, which increases the feeling of the size of a space dramatically. So in this space, the archway coming into the kitchen, I raised it right to the roof. The back doors we raised right to the roof. And then the stairwell going down, we brought that entry into the basement up, and then I did a custom door that's 8 feet tall, painted it black, so it looks authentic and old, and it just increases just the feeling of space without really increasing the footprint. Because we were dealing with 2 different personalities, I wanted to make sure that they were both really happy. We were really careful, we took our time, and we had a lot of communication between us, and in the end, they were thrilled, and I was thrilled, and I'm over here for dinner all the time.